Yesterday, I sat in this very room in front of the Minister of Immigration to ask him questions about the main estimates. Earlier last week, I did the same thing for 4 hours in the House of Commons, and this is the document where the government's supposed to say how much money they're spending on things like immigration. But today, on a Friday afternoon in Ottawa, the Minister of Immigration kind of slinked out of the government lobby and stood in the House of Commons foyer to make an informal scrum to announce $50 million, which weren't budgeted for the illegal border crossing crisis. And this is what's going to burn your biscuits. It's to deal with the fact that because they refused to close the loophole in the Safe Third Country Agreement, Toronto's homeless shelters are over capacity with people illegally entering the country from the United States of America, a very safe country, and claiming asylum here in Canada. So, Justin Trudeau stood in Edmonton a few months ago and told a veteran that he was asking for more than we can give. Now, after promising over $150 million to Quebec for the illegal border crossing crisis, to house and clothe and feed illegal border crossers, today the Minister of Immigration had to admit that this wasn't enough and announce another $50 million that weren't budgeted for the illegal border crossers. So, I don't think he was very happy. I'm in Ottawa today. I was able to come in behind him on that scrum and tell reporters this: Justin Trudeau is going to have to stand in front of a mic over and over again announcing tens of millions of dollars that we don't have, because the demand on our social programs from this issue is not going to decrease until he does something that is going to stop people from abusing our immigration system this way. And what is that something? What is it, people? It's renegotiating the Safe Third Country Agreement, that agreement that we have with the United States of America that says if you've reached one of our countries, the safest countries in the world, you shouldn't be able to enter the other country and then claim asylum. That agreement, of course, is silent on what happens if you illegally enter the country, which is why we've been telling this government for months, for over a year, that they need to renegotiate this agreement so that it applies to people illegally entering the country. And they refuse to do this. Their response has been to spend hundreds of millions of tax dollars that could be used on what? Transit, on paying the deficit or paying down the debt, on anything. But they're allocating it to people who are illegally entering the country from the United States of America to claim asylum in Canada, and by Justin Trudeau and his public safety minister's own admission, likely won't have the legal right to stay here because their asylum claims will be refused. I just think that this is ridiculous. Whenever the government has to come out on a Friday afternoon and make a sneaky announcement like this, I think that they thought I probably wasn't in Ottawa. I think that they probably thought that I wasn't paying attention or that you wouldn't be paying attention. I loved his face when he saw me kind of come up on the microphone behind him. This is why we have to be on top of this government over and over and over again. I mean, I had him in this room. I had him sitting in a chair right across from me, asking questions yesterday. Why wouldn't he tell opposition members that he was going to spend $50 million on this yesterday when we were voting on the budget? And why? Because this government doesn't want your scrutiny on your own money, because they know that they're making mistakes. So next week, the Minister of Immigration, apparently, we've heard rumors, is going to the United States. If he doesn't come back with a renegotiated Safe Third Country Agreement, after a year of asking for this, he's going to have to be in front of that microphone over and over and over again, because there will be no end in sight to the demand on our social programs if this agreement is not dealt with. It's a constant battle, folks. I want to tell you this, though. Your pressure on this government, regardless of your political stripes, saying, and especially to new Canadians who have come to Canada legally and who have family members who are waiting to come to Canada legally, and especially to people who have privately sponsored refugees who are going to be waiting for years to come in legally because of this government's incompetence on the Roxham Road issue. I want to thank you for the pressure that you've been putting on this government, because they know something needs to change. And also, they know that this is unacceptable. I just think it's ridiculous. $50 million. Can you imagine that? Another $50 million. How many videos have I made with you now saying $50 million, $100 million, $200 million, all to support illegal border crossers who likely will never have their claims approved in Canada? It's just ridiculous. Here's the thing that I predict in the next week with the Liberals, and I'm going to do another video on this. I predict two things. I predict Justin Trudeau is going to blame this problem on Donald Trump at some point in time. I strongly suspect that, and you can clip this video when I'm right. And the other thing that I predict that they're going to do is they're going to start trying to normalize the numbers. They're going to start saying like, well, 1,500 people illegally crossing the border in a month is not that bad. I mean, come on, it's okay. The number should be 0, right? Those are the two things that I predict Justin Trudeau is going to start doing in order to cover up the fact that he's spending hundreds of millions of dollars of your money to accommodate and prioritize people who are legally entering the country over people who are trying to come to do so legally. And the world's most vulnerable. And frankly, I'm just going to say it right here. If you are coming from the United States of America, you are no longer fleeing persecution. Let's be honest. I'm going to get back into the House of Commons right now because I clearly have to keep an eye on these people all the time. But I want to thank you for your support, and I encourage you, write the immigration minister, share this video. It's so important to get this message out about how incompetent this government is. And every time you share this video, you make a difference. Working hard for you in Ottawa. Have a great day.